What's up, guys? In this video, I just want to talk about, narcissism, as well as just kind of checking in. This is going to be a video vlog, check-in / narcissism video. So if that's what you want to see, stick with me. Yeah, so kind of want to start with just framing the video. Not even framing, but just talking about narcissism as far as how confusing it can be. As I'm leaving the home, 4th day, totally alone. Never lived alone, but no real friends, no real family. Starting to work a little bit, thank God. But so yeah, this will be a personal video as well. I'm just gonna be honest, just talk about what's going on, and maybe someone can get some value out of it. If you've been recently discarded, my heart goes out to you. It's confusing, right? So that's what I'm going to start the video talking about, the confusing part. It's hard to, if you're like not a, empowered empath, or not a, you have blinders on to the toxicity that is manipulative, destructive narcissism. Then it can be very confusing because you've been kind of conditioned, right, during your life to seek validation or acceptance or blah, blah, blah. If you're not, and that I think in essence is kind of like where the toxic relationship comes from. Most of us need love. We all have different ways of growing up, and like how to accept love and how to give love and all that, and I would argue the narcissist is the coward, and the victim of narcissism is the hopeful, and it can work back and forth too. Like, it's not, that's why I always say it's like, I find it very unproductive to just talk about how bad someone is, and that's why historically it's a red flag when dating is to talk bad about your ex, because it shows that the person that's talking crap often has not done the work, done the healing, and it's a typical cycle. They'll just find someone else, repeat the same cycle, find someone else, repeat the same cycle, and even if they are not the narcissist, quote unquote, it's not a great look. But I would argue that, if they're not the narcissist, I mean, you can't tell when you just date someone, but if they're not the narcissist, then, because the narcissist has zero, like a very low chance of ever changing. That's why they're a coward. So, anyway, confusing part about it too is like, narcissists are they're very manipulative, and like, it sucks when you have lost stuff and you're confused and you still like haven't really realized what is happening. And again, if you're watching this video still, you're probably trying to pick up the pieces. And like I talk about in all my videos, everyone's on a different path. Time, it takes time to figure out exactly what happened to you. And, once you start figuring about love bombing, devaluation's huge. Again, I might have said this in a previous video, but it's imperative to find out, ahead of time if you're being devalued. And, a normal person, a regular person, can just look at devaluation as like, oh, this person's being bad, and then they fight back against it. But depending on how bad you've been like gaslit and beat down, you can just keep going down and down and down. And if you don't have anyone there to protect you, and you're not there to protect yourself, you can reach a critical mass of like just you can go so bad. It can go so wrong, and being discarded and continue to be devalued, and like, you know, so, and you know, again, everyone's on their own path, but it's freaking brutal. It's freaking brutal out there. But again, this is how I feel about relationships. The person who, you know, to the extent that, to the degree that the relationship was toxic, I think it really does, like, it really does matter who leaves first and who gives up on the relationship. Obviously, no relationship's the same. It's hard to make blanket statements, but it's a hopeful message, hopefully, about pain and the utility of pain. And the person who has the most pain and has experienced the most pain has the best course of change, is more likely of change, you know. And that's usually the codependent, more empathic type. So that's one thing I struggle with. Like, I've never been more comfortable with myself and never been more like alone objectively. So it's confusing. And also, like, my heart is open and I'm like, I feel real, and it's like confusing because, like, I feel vulnerable and I feel like a lot sweeter and a lot more empathetic. And it scares the crap out of me because I just feel like I can be hurt so much easier now. It's weird how, like, trauma makes you, like, vulnerable, even though it should harden you. I guess it depends on how it manifests, but I guess healing makes you vulnerable, maybe. Not the trauma itself, but once you start healing, it's like, I don't know. I guess you can't just, I can't just, like, blanket statement things, but it's very strange. It's very, as my therapist said today, it's very funny how that works. When you know, are healing, it's like you kind of lose everything. It's like one of those things, like, no one's gonna say I'm a bad person, I did all this wrong. Like, people just want to complain and blame and be a victim. And so, having said that, you're never gonna get closure with these people. You're never gonna be like, no one's gonna just tell you, like, that person did that to you, like, because they didn't see everything. And if you grew up like that, it just seems normal. So it can be very confusing. I guess that is the point of this video. That's at least what I decided to talk about today. Is I've never been more confused and more happy with myself. Never been more, you know, less interested in drinking. I can kind of see a lot clearer what, like, the implications of drinking with certain people mean, and like what, you know, I can kind of see when I'm out, because I'm going bartend right now. I still bartend. Like, I can kind of see, like, people, like, their pain and subtext of, like, how they act, and it's like, I don't know. It's kind of like the ignorance is bliss thing. You know, it's kind of want to go back to how I used to be, but it's impossible. So what's the point in thinking about it? Yeah. It's crazy, man. Alright, dude, don't turn in my lane. So, okay, I'm getting past this car. It's going in my lane. Stay in your lane, buddy. But yeah, what else? Narcissistic abuse is freaking brutal. Maybe I'm too tired to make this video, but I just wanted to talk to camera. It's been a little while, and you know, like I said, from the first video. I kind of just want to post everything just so I can, no matter how cringy, just to be able to check in with myself and maybe help somebody else. So, and also kind of work on content and get feedback and blah blah. So I guess I'll just film all the way on my way to work. You can change up the topic though now to I don't know. I don't talk about should talk about women. Let's talk about Jezebels. Oh, let's talk about the lack of self and authenticity in 2025. I don't know if I know anyone really. I know one guy. We all have our defense mechanisms. We all have our triggers. We all have everything that encompasses us, and especially in a certain moment in time. We aren't who we were yesterday. We're not who we're going to be tomorrow. But I only know one person currently that's not. I can't just look at it and be like, you are fake, like you are wearing a mask. I don't believe you. I don't trust you. So many people I meet, I guess technically everyone I meet besides one dude is like a inauthentic version of themselves. And that's all well and good at a surface level, but if you really want to build with someone, whether it's like a long-term relationship, like a partner, or just like a friend. Oh no, I know two people. But they're miserable. So it's like, this is what's kind of crazy. It's like, and I had my blinders on, so I had this cope, and I don't think it was, I always thought it was narcissism, but it was just like delusion. Like I had this idea that I was, it might have been grandiosity, and I had this like fake confidence a little bit, and which wasn't really fake. It was genuine, but it was based in superficiality. So, which is shallow. So it wasn't fake, but it was just not a fully realized confidence, I guess you could say. And it's like, it's much easier to be inauthentic for sure, because then if someone hurts you, it wasn't you. I get it. And you don't need to heal. It's easier for sure. Most people do that. They live the rest of their lives without being vulnerable and being themselves. I think it's just not a good long-term strategy if you want. If you don't want to be a hypocrite, people like that, I feel like, will ultimately, either be an avoidant type where they just, mess around with people, and then when they get close, they run away until they find someone else, and go from person to person like that, which I think is more typical with women, because they can do that. I do also know men like that, but not very many. And or you're straight up narcissist, in which case everyone is just supply and objectified in a way that they're not actually an autonomous individual, in which case you can just freely use people, because if you don't look at people that way, then you can do anything to them and it doesn't matter. But the downside of that is you can't have a sense of self, so you don't matter either. like every woman now is either wearing leggings where you can see their entire ass. I'm gonna sound like an old man in this video, but just like basically naked with leggings. Some of them are even nude color or whatever. Or they're a little bit younger. They like also wear like the mom jeans, like those like bluish mom jean pants. It's weird. Fuck you doing? No one's like watching what they're doing either. I think they're on their phone. It's weird. That's a dude. Well, he's an old guy. But anyway, it's a beautiful day. Beautiful day to do vlogging and be negative as shit, honk at people. I enjoy it. But better bring up the energy if I'm in a bartend to make any kind of money tonight. Yeah. This will be the worst video of all time, but gotta upload it. You gotta. Just gotta, you know. But if you're still watching this video, you're kind of like a cool person. I appreciate you very much. I think I'm gonna name this video just talking to the camera, but no value. Just talking to the camera with no value. Now that's too self-deprecating. A little bit too much. But yeah, I'm basically at work, so we're gonna turn the video off here. Appreciate you guys. If you're still watching, you're pretty cool. I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one.